difference in their drafts recently either. They picked a lot of Lifestealer, a lot of Ember Spirit coming out as well, but now they pick up an Ursa, they pick up an Invoker, so completely different type of lineup for LGD here, David.
Yeah, the knock on LGD coming into the lower bracket when they dropped down was that they looked a little one-dimensional, almost always relying on the Xiaowei team fight here. There was something that Empire was talking to Wog about yesterday while watching the games up in the lounge, and something that other players had mentioned to me as well. It seemed like LGD just really loved the 5-man, but they've been giving different looks lately. It's much more pick-off focused, a little bit more spread offense, kind of snowbally drafts. I would say almost like MVP-esque in terms of the hero picks. Now, going into that last pick, it looked like VGR were expecting a hard carry. They ended up banning out the Slark, something that could have matched up really well later on, even against that last pick, Doom, but LGD want to up the tempo here. They're dire side. They really want to secure Roshan. It is going to be very difficult for Vici to contest into the pit. They don't have a great vision hero. They're a very greedy draft. All of these heroes need levels. Quite a few of them need farms. So look for LGD to be the team that's playing up tempo, that's trying to snowball objectives. Vici, Gaming Reborn, more trying to find pickoffs, dodge fights, and just head for late game.
Yeah, I mean, if they do find that farm, though, for Vici, Gaming Reborn, they will be in a very good position. Alchemist will find that farm pretty much regardless of what happens, even maybe with a couple of deaths in that mid lane or wherever they decide to send him. He will still find his stacks in the jungle, but he will still get his farm with the Grievel's Greed. So it comes down to aggressive, having a good laning phase, maybe doing as well, but he's had a pretty good tournament so far. Maybe I think has been probably the best in terms of mid laners. Meanwhile, Rolling Boulder not finding anything coming out for the side of LGD just yet, and already the IO rotating mid. Nono's going to put some pressure on maybe, and so this Quas Exort Invoker will have a little bit of struggles here in the early stage of this game, LD.
Yeah, so Doom starting in the off lane here for Yang, so it is going to be a core Doom, and he got the D ward. His camp was blocked. Sep tried to body block a bit late to get the hero in position. So Yang will have a pretty good start here in the jungle. He'll have access to both big camps, and it's going to be 2v2 mid for a large part of this. Earth Spirit more hanging around to protect the Invoker and maybe go for a kill if the IO's out of position. But this dual lane, very strong for VGR. You can expect to see them stacking up the jungle for the Alk later on, and for them it's more about just not giving up the IO kill early, but FY, ooh, close call.
Almost gets caught by the Sunstrike with the rotation in from Sep as well. Maybe going to work now with his point in Quas. Body block coming through. There's the tether. They shouldn't be able to bring him down. They're going to get some extra chip damage in, but for VGR, they'll back up and avoid that first blood onto FY, the IO.
Yeah, so looking at the Doom off, oh, they're rolling it again.
No's going to get caught. There's the tether coming through, and they just can't find it. They can't find the body blocks. They can't find any further damage. Obviously, Sep's still level 1, I believe, so he doesn't have that kick just yet if he needs it. But a lot of action early in this mid lane. I think we'll have to keep our eyes there. Yeah,
as for top, Yang has managed to hit level 2. He started with the boots here, but this is a very killable Doom lane, especially at these early levels. They have the Disruptor. Already taking the point Thunderstrike. Hasn't taken the second skill point yet, waiting to see if there's an opportunity with Kinetic Field. But Ursa, one of those safe lane carries that can kill almost anyone, even with, just level 3 or so. So he's going to have to play this one very carefully. And also worth keeping an eye on here is the bounty runes. Will Nono be getting them as an alchemist? For now, he does not get the 2-minute rune. LGD, I think they'll be very vigilant about trying to guard those, and that's the beauty of having a roaming Earth Spirit.
Yeah, he's going to be the bodyguard in the river, essentially, just making sure he can, number 1, set up pickoffs, find ganks, things like that, and number 2, secure those runes like you were talking about. So you do have at least the Doom coming through, so Yang can maybe even help out regarding those runes, but he's right now just sitting top lane. Io will have to do some work there as well. Xiaowei down bottom, he's doing okay. 2 last hits right now. He'll find DDC with the stun of Slithering Charge, but he's going to get Earth Spike. He'll back up and away. It doesn't do much damage. He doesn't have his sprint enabled, so he's fine. He's going to actually just trade away, and N's going to come through threatening with a Blade Fury, but Xiaowei's not going to walk too much further
top lane, though. This looks to be the first blood. Yang caught out. There's the roll in from Sep. In a lot of danger. Scorched Earth, not enough. LGD get it done, and it wasn't even the cleanest initiation there, but that just shows you how much Ursa can do in the early laning stage. And he is leveling up the Fury swipes, generally what you'll see from a safe lane Ursa, which is normally where the heroes run. And with that, Doom is going to have a very difficult time staying in the lane. He may just have to resort to jungle, but that's where MMY will pull ahead. MMY, I think, probably the most consistent support in this event at getting farm, as oftentimes the only laning support for his team. Up there, I guess, with Liquid's Kuroki as well. These two always find their farm, always get their fast level 6. For Disruptor, it's more about the levels, but MMY, you can see just chain
Boulder in mid. Nono's going to get caught with a cold snap. They get the Boulder Smash off as well. He's tanky, but he's not tanky enough, maybe. They get the tether coming through with FY. They're going to turn it around. Sep, the right click from the low ground, and FY will get the job done.
Great rotation there by the IO. It's something you do have to respect. LGD, they certainly know how the IO runs, as they do have MMY, who's played it for them a few times this event. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Xiaowei
Blade Fury is going to come through. They have the Earth Spike as well. He's going to get hexed up. One more right click will do the job and end. His Blade Fury spin is more than enough. DDC kind of dangerously close to death there, but now they will find maybe an initiation. Nam the glimpse back. Yang is going to get kinetic field up. Aggressive going to work. They have the overpower coming through the tether. Now they keep him alive. Another roller smash coming through. One more right click and Sepp.
Oh, he's got phase boots, Mod. He could chase this little IO 0 base armor. FY tether cooling down. No one to tether to. See ya, IO. 3 dead, as they also lost the Lion while that was happening. He did suicide to neutrals, actually, so wanted that free fountain trip.
MMY with some great kinetic fields to set it up, but you have obviously the Earth Shock to slow things down coming out for LGD, and the damage coming out, you talked about it with the Earth, the amount of damage you can pump out with the Overpower, with the Fury swipes is dangerous and aggressive. Well, he's being just that early on in this game, being very aggressive, finding those kills in his own lane, finding plenty of farm as well. 30 CS leading the way. Sure, End has gotten the kill down bottom, but he's a couple of CS behind aggressive on that Ursa.
Yeah, the good news is they have an Alchemist. You can see they're starting to stack up the jungle here. Triple stack at the medium camp. Not too much else for the time being, but do expect them to prioritize that as well as Ancients later on. And they have Doom, obviously, with Devour. Even if you're giving up a few extra kills, as long as you don't chain feed or lose your stacks early, give up a free Roshan without any sort of trade, VG Gaming Reborn, they're okay with even trades or even slightly disadvantaged ones because of the nature of their draft.
Sepp is going to be able to scout all these stacks out, but the good thing for Vici is the fact that they haven't really lost the Alchemist. He's got plenty of farm. He has 24 CS. We've seen some terrible starts for Alchemist in this tournament when you're going up against a good hero, but right now maybe he's kind of struggling. You have the IO helping him out with Tether as well, so Nono is getting plenty of CS. He has those stacks to fall back on. He's doing very well as he gets to maybe that maybe 7 to 8 minute mark, starts getting that armlet very quickly, and that's going to be troublesome for LGD.
The big thing for VGR, I would like to see them try and contest the bounty runes a little bit more, at least as long as they have eyes on the Ursa. For the time being, they seem more interested in just jungling. Yang hasn't helped to get the runes yet. Nono's going to risk it for the top one. Let's see if he gets lucky.
He wants that bounty rune. He wants that 6 minute bounty rune coming out. Down bottom, it's going to be secured by Sepp, and it looks like he will pick up the Arcane Rune, which is, it's not the worst thing in the world, but meanwhile there's going to be a Hex. It's going to be on to Shao. He will be able to get out bottom. Rolling boulder from Sepp as he's been scouted out in the jungle. He's just dropping some wards down, getting some vision, and FY should be none the wiser.
So Aggressive already has the Morbid Mask here. He's gone for the casual infused raindrops, and curious to see when LGD move towards the pit as soon as they have amp damage. It's a very fast Roshan, but it could be a bit risky as Sepp leeching experience here from Nono, doing his first stack. FY there to protect him, so it's unlikely to be a kill outright. They do have a Sunstrike though, and MMY is moving that way. He's already level 5, and Shao 8 comes in.
Rolling boulder, they're going to go for it. They get the slow down. They have the stun if need be. The boulder smash will come through. The Slithering Crush, it's on time. They get the Sunstrike off, but there's the tether. He doesn't take that much damage. He's just going to turn this around. They're going to get the Acid Spray off. They get up another Earthquake coming through. One dead. It's going to be 2, and Sepp is going to get hexed up in LGD. That aggressive play did not work out for them in the end.
Such patient IO play by FY. A lot of Wisp players would have just immediately tethered the Alchemist, tried to keep him alive from the start, but he knew the Chemical Rage was still going. He did not want to get caught by a Slardar stun. He stayed very far back, and then he tethered in only once the initiation began. So good recognition there by VGR. I love the way that End comes to protect the jungle. A lot of safe lane carries would just sit there farming. I think that was one of the big issues we saw with Secret, was that they weren't rotating their carry enough to fights, and were comfortable doing so, but VGR showing this is how you have to play as a carry now. FY bottom rune though. Ooh, close call.
So the Rune Crush, it does hit him, but he was able to tether out just in time and make it away. So no danger there. He'll actually take some damage, but it'll be just fine. Sepp's going back to his side of the river. He is currently level 3, so lacking some experience. It's the big thing when you're roaming around on this Earth Spirit. You want to get 6 as quickly as possible, but right now, that doesn't seem likely for him anytime soon.
FY with the early gloves of haste here on the IO. Very unusual pickup. Are we going to see his patented Midas? You know, one of the first big games I ever saw from FY was when he's playing Disruptor. He got an early Midas. He ended up with Aghanim's Refresher, and he basically won them the game solo. I've never seen a Disruptor carry harder since, but we'll have to see. For now, just the casual gloves.
DDC walking in, looking for Shao. You talked about MMY and his ability to find farm, and we often forget about FY and his time on VG Gaming and how he's been able to find farm. He'll often get these blink daggers at super ridiculous times when he was with Fenrir. Now with VG Gaming, he's playing more of a defensive support role, but if he goes for gloves of haste, that kind of leads me to believe that something crazy is going on with that IO. Not a usual pickup you see from that particular hero.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it could be something like Treads, but generally you'd start with the belt. The attack speed doesn't really offer you much, so yeah. I think he might be just leaving his options open here. Who knows? Armlet IO. We'll have to see.
The attack speed's so useful. Oh, it's going to be great.
Machine gun IO. Here we go. But yeah, they're already worried about the Roshan. You can see FY now just trying to scout into the pit a little bit. It's only 9 minutes in, but there's an Ursa, there's a Slardar. They can see he's not level 6, but they know Xiao 8's close. At some point, LGD almost certainly will get a Roshan this game. The question is, like, what do VGR get in return? Do they find kills? Do they take objectives instead? Is Alchemist able to clear a big stack of Ancients? I don't think LGD just outright wins because they're getting Aegis, but if Vici Gaming aren't getting something in return, that's where the game can start to get more difficult for them. So they at least want to know if a Roche attempt is happening so they can stall it or look for other objectives.
The problem for Vici is that they don't have the best objective takers. They're not great at pushing, unfortunately. They don't have many good pushing heroes, with the exception of the Juggernaut. You drop down the healing ward, you just go to work on the tower. So they'll need some help in that regard. But if there is Roche happening, they could easily take down the tier 1 tower. And that trade that you see so often when you're on Dire side is that you take Roche, the opposing team takes the tier 1 tower top lane. That's probably what we'll see in return, or just farming for the Alchemist, because he's now top of the net worth, which is not surprising. He'll continue to jump up there.
He's not that far ahead, though, Maud. He really hasn't gotten many bounty runes. They haven't been stacking that much for him. Now, what we've seen out of Nono is he's not afraid to play more of like a utility Alchemist at times. We have seen the Solar Crest. Wings was doing that the other day. So he goes Armlet for now. I'm expecting the Radiance build, but I think that is an adjustment you can make if you feel like you're hell-bent on fighting. You already have Doom, Juggernaut, even Lion. All of these all of these heroes scale great in the late game, especially if you're going for a Battle Fury Jug. So I think VGR is still flexible as far as itemization here. There's some decent Aghanims upgrades to be given. Probably the Doom one, the main one, but here comes that first move towards the Roche pit. Ideally for LGD, you find a pick. MMY has the level 3 glimpse, but they might just try to take the Roche outright. And honestly, I don't see VGR taking a fight there.
Yeah, they're going to head into the pit. They have the Mask of Madness newly completed for aggressive. He's going to be able to use his Enrage once they get a couple of stacks of Fury swipes onto Roshan. They'll be able to take this down within seconds. They have the amp damage, so this goes so quickly that VGR don't really get anything in return like we were talking about. So LGD, they find the Roche, they get the Ursa, the Aegis, and it's just like that. Maybe a 10-second Roche maximum, David.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this, plus the Ursa already having Enrage, you have a hero that can die very confidently, can even initiate over the likes of the Slardar. You also have Earth Spirit to start fights, so this is going to open up the map for Maybe, who has been right up there with Miracle as an Invoker that can take over late game. You don't think of Invoker like, oh, necessarily the hardest carry, but the hero's been buffed time and again over the past, I guess, 6 to 9 months at this point. And we're at the stage now where really good Invoker players can almost carry the game on their own come 50, 60 minutes. So really, it's all about aggressive creating space for Maybe here. And that has kind of been the adjustment for this team as they found their footing over the past couple months.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen an Invoker with his team behind suddenly get a Midas, get an Aghanim Scepter, and then change the game just based on one team fight alone. Maybe a Tornado Meatball combination, Deafening Blast on top of that. So maybe once he gets a couple more minutes to work with, so he can get his Midas really kicking in, get a couple more levels, he's going to be in a very good spot. But for now, they'll probably just use this Aegis maybe to farm. We'll see if they're going to be a little bit aggressive down bottom. Speaking of aggressive, he's up top currently farming as well, just looking to push into that tier 1 tower. But
I'm really worried about FY here, though. He's only level 4 at nearly 12 minutes into the game. They haven't snowballed too much. Would like to see him maybe leeching some experience from the Alchemist when he is farming the stacks. At the very least, they're going to need relocate, because LGD are going to jump heroes, and they need that defensive counterplay. Bottom lane.
Get the Static Storm off the Sunstrike. Is it going to hit? Boom! They get the job done for Maybe. Yang gets stunned up as well. They get off another beautiful Magnetize they'll turn to. It's a double kill. They might continue to chase after DDC.
Oh, and they got him. This amp damage into Glimpse combo is devastating. LGD making plays, and this team knows how to play the objectives, Travis. They get the Roche, they go straight for kills, they transition into a tower push, and they defend mid lane. Ursa blinking in.
He's going for the fight. They're going to have another TP on top of FY, just getting chewed through. He actually gets right on the way out. The tether was not in time. Nono trying to save him. And they turn 4 for LGD. They get a triple kill for Maybe, and we were just talking about the plays he can make on the Invoker, and he only has a Midas, for God's sakes.
Well, you say that. He just bought a drum. Yeah. Basically farmed the whole thing off of that bottom fight. Is he gets 3 kills, they take down the tower. That goes to Xiao 8, who now has a blink, so they have double blinks. And from here on out, LGD is going to be constantly in VGR's face. They've taken down the tier 1 bottom. Expect to see aggressive wards getting dropped. Expect to see constant dives under towers, at least zoning the Alchemist and the Doom out. So for VG Gaming Reborn, the natural movement is towards the top side of the map, where they still have a tier 1 there in mid. It's a bit harder for LGD to flank, but then LGD will look to start squeezing them in other places. So the mid tier 1, probably the next big objective, along with this tier 2 bottom. And the clock is going to be ticking. It looks like Alchemist is going Radiance. LGD know this is a big window of opportunity to punish, to take objectives. even if Alk gets Radiance, they can still crush that Alk in the mid game. He needs a lot more farm. Yep. He's up against heavy minus armor, heavy burst damage, and IO alone, especially only a level 5 IO at 13 minutes, cannot save him solo.
Meanwhile, top lane, there's going to be the ensnare coming out. The Massive Manus is going to go for aggressive, chasing down Yang. They get the tether through, and everyone is rotating from VG Gaming Reborn. While this is happening, they took that tier 2 tower down bottom. It's already gone as LGD continue that push, and they are very happy with that.
This is Boa Constrictor Dota here. VG Gaming are going to be choked out a bit. They need to find some sort of space on the map, and they try for the 5-hero rotation of that bounty rune. They get it, but it feels a little late. This is something I would have liked to see more early in the laning stage, but now LGD still about a minute and a half on the Aegis, so it will be the tier 1 mid, their next big objective. Possibly going to press in on top a bit. They have the double Blink Dagger bros here.
Aggressive ready to go with that newly minted Blink Dagger. You can see behind the tower, the Lion DDC might need to be a little bit careful. He's going to back away closer to his comrades, and they're actually going to group up together here towards this ancient stack and smoke up and look for maybe an initiation either top or mid. We'll see where they head for VG Gaming Reborn.
Yeah, the Aegis is going to be ending in about a minute, so I'm going to stay away from the Ursa, at least for the time being. Or if you go, you better send the whole gang to see a Doom this game. It's been rather passive from VGR. The analyst touched on it. We talked about it a bit more. It's a greedy draft. A lot of heroes that require farm and levels. I'd love to have a Lion blink at this stage, but oh, he's up the cliff. He does get scouted.
Smoke will break. Sep sees it. He's going to back away.
MMY is Glim. Somebody's going to be in trouble. Who does he go for? No, doesn't have the vision.
He's not going to go for it this time around without that Observer Ward down towards that Roche pit. They won't be able to find the initiation they're looking for, and they just give more room for Xiaowei top lane and aggressive as well. He's going to continue to jungle Xiaowei. Now it's his Blink Dagger like you talked about, and LGD, they just avoid the gank. They're completely fine, and aggressive is going to pick up double Blade of Alacrity for what seems to be a Diffusal Blade on that Ursa.
Yeah, this is a fantastic pickup. It allows you to snare and chase heroes down better. Obviously, Ghost Scepter is probably the #1 item that people like to get against an Ursa, and of course you can just purge that Ghost form off. So FY does end up completing the treads here at long last. Very poor, but they're making a move. LGD, they've got the Glibs. They get a ward down. FY is looking rather tasty.
It's a perfect ward. They're going to jump right in looking for FY. They get the Static Storm off. It's onto 2, but they avoid the Kinetic Field. The silence of the Rolling Boulder, the glimpse back in. Yang in trouble, and here comes DDC. Hex up the Blade Fury. Xiaowei getting caught out. He might fall first, and it looks like he will.
What a great counterplay there. Not able to burst down the IO. They got a bit greedy. Tried to go for the secondary kill. Now MMY. Second hero down. LGD getting punished. That looked like 2 just gimmies, and they couldn't even kill a drastically underfarmed IO. Impressive stuff from VGR to keep him alive.
Missing that kinetic field was crucial for LGD. They needed to hit that. They would have probably gotten both of those pickups there, but unfortunately, they couldn't quite hit the abilities from the Disruptor.
Yeah, he wanted to get that 2-hero Static Storm first, go for the double kill, but a bit slow to follow up. Xiaowei just went a little too soon for the Disruptor to take full advantage, and as a result, a lot of opportunity, a lot of space here. For a team that gets this much gold through Devour as the tower gets denied top by end, nicely done there. As well as the Alchemist, Radiance coming. One mistake feels like 20 mistakes against this draft.
Yes.
So you really have to be careful if you're LGD.
Yeah, I mean, the Radiance up now. You have End going for a Manta style as well. They're starting to increase their farm. You can see the net worth grab jumping back up to about only 2,000 in favor of LGD. Still, they have the advantage now. They can maybe wait for the next Roche. They're going to have some more farm here on maybe pretty soon. They're going to have that Diffusal Blade up for aggressive. So there is still a lot to look forward to for LGD, but VGR, they can easily bring this back with a good Doom, a good initiation from DDC. We'll see how they can turn this around over the next couple of minutes here.
Yeah, looking forward for the Alchemist. No, completed the Radiance up to 1,300 gold. They really need armors. It's incredible physical damage from LGD. We talked about the Slardar, the Ursa, but they also have a Quas Exhort Invoker who hits very hard, will bring the Alacrity to the table. Now Exhort nearly maxed out, so itemizing for heavy armor is very important for this team. Something like the Doom getting a Vlad's would be a nice pickup this game. Juggernaut is going towards a Manta style to deal with the amp damage. These are the type of pickups you really want to be getting for VGR. Items that will help you sustain and not get blown up instantly. Later on, once that next round of items come for LGD, Io's not going to live if he gets jumped like that, unless he has some defensive utility items on his teammates.
Not to mention the treads. This is going to keep him a little bit more tanky for Io. No earned this game just yet, so it's not going to go down that route. But for now, LGD grouping up towards their own Ancients. It looks like they might be keen on smoking. It looks like they have one, I think, on MMY. No, nothing on them currently, so no smoke set up yet.
They're actually spending a lot of time grouping together, but you can see LGD, even while all 4 heroes are very close by, they're still farming 1 lane and 2 creep camps. So doing a good job at keeping the farming patterns relatively even, but you can see that graph stabilizing, and it can't be a comfortable feeling for LGD. They don't see the graph, but they do realize after that last fight the VGR are getting a lot. They're going to smoke Mott. They don't have a blink on the Lion, though. He has a very hard, really, like, 5-position Lion. They're there together with the IO because of the greed of the cores.
They kind of just have to run into LGD and then relocate on top. They have the IO and the ALK together right now, and they're looking behind this tier 2 tower currently. They'll drop an Observer Ward down deep towards that secret shop, but nothing else. It looks like for now, LGD seem to know something is up. They're going to back up, though, here. And Sepp is going to roll away, and they don't get off that Earth Spike in time.
They might be able to get the glimpse off here as their dire vision. Got to be careful. DDC gets vision.
Aggressive just blinks in, and he's going in. They get the silence off Sunstrike. It's going to miss, but barely. Still, the relocated, but they get the static storm off in time. Sepp getting chewed down. Meanwhile, the Magnetize on top. Omnislash will go. Takes down 2 for LGD. Magnetize not bringing down the Doom just yet. He's healing through with the Scorched Earth.
Oh, that Healing Ward plus a Tether combo is really strong, but they do manage to snipe the Healing Ward. What an interesting relocate by FY. It was actually quite close to the battle, but just relocated his buddy a little bit to the south. It ends up working out. They're not able to burst these heroes. That Centaur stuff, but aggressive. LGD, known for being disciplined and fighting as a team, are giving up solo kills here, running in 1 by 1, getting picked off and punished, and the graph is going to spike dramatically upwards. They're also, even if VG Gaming Reborn don't get the Aegis here, this is time where LGD is not starving them. They, by not having the Aegis, are not up in VGR's face. They haven't taken the tier 1 mid yet. At this stage in the game, 20 minutes in with this kind of draft, the way they've itemized, LGD, they have some late game insurance for maybe, but they really want to be in the driver's seat here, Travis. They're not getting nearly enough done.
VGR are starting to be in that driver's seat. They got the wards down, they got that vision in that engagement, of course. LGD, like you said, chain feeding, aggressive, going in against 3 or maybe even 4 heroes and just getting caught with a Centaur Conqueror's
You can understand, right? It's like normally Ursa in that situation is able to jump in, instantly find a kill, but it was really close. The IO just barely surviving time and again. It's little things like having strength treads that do make the difference. Yeah, he's under farm, but the items he has are the type of items that keep you alive.
And for VGR, like you talked about, they continue to just pile it on in terms of their gold coming out. You have now the Boots of Travel up for the Alchemist, plus 1,200 gold to the bank, so Nono continues to get farmed. He continues to be the top in net worth. Maybe is trying to get up there as well, but he's just not going to farm as well as an Alchemist. And you look at the Juggernaut, he's actually right behind Maybe on that Invoker, sitting now with a Manta style as well as a Blade of Alacrity for himself. So VGR in a very strong position. Roche is back up, and this is one thing that LGD can look forward to because of how quickly they do take it down. We saw it earlier.
Yeah, for them, it's they have to get Roche, whereas for VGR, they don't really need it. But if they somehow manage to win a fight and take the Aegis, LGD are just going to be trapped in their base and playing defense. So looking forward over the next 10-15 minutes, Maybe is the player for me that has to come up big. Xiaowei, we saw last fight, dies to an Omnislash while sprinted. He's a bit underfarmed as the Slardar. He's much more of a utility hero. The Disruptor of MMY has gone for a 4-staff. We're not going to see any sort of greed from him. Sepp on the Earth Spirit's been a lot of early time roaming, so with your Ursa dying, your Slardar getting shut down a bit in fights, the only hero that's farming exceptionally well here is Maybe on the Invoker. He needs to have one of those spectacular performances, which he has had this tournament. That's why teams were first banning Invoker almost every game. VGR not respecting his Invoker. He's got to prove them wrong.
Yeah, and we'll see. And if they get the Blink up for the Doom, which I imagine is his next item, they have it now. That's going to be even tougher for Maybe. The Blink Doom is available. That's the initiation I think VGR were lacking. They were still winning these engagements, these past 2 engagements, and won just by running in, essentially, into LGD. So for VGR, they have the Blink Doom from Yang. They can look for a fight. They can look for a contention on Roche. They can look for a smoke, and that's exactly what they're going to do with DDC and Yang leading the way.
They maybe expect a Roshan attempt here. Are they thinking about sneaking it? That is real risky for VGR. I don't think they need to go for Roche. They're more just, they want to try and ambush LGD if they're in the pit, and you can see the line being drawn there by DDC. Let's shove in this top lane, maybe sneak into their woods. They do so with the full 5-man squad because they do have relocate.
Yeah, you could see right now VGR just, they're trying to find something here, but it seems as if maybe LGD knew something was going on towards that jungle. They have an Observer Ward close to Roche and in the lane, but they're going to smoke now, and they're going to try to find the initiation.
Oh, smoke is going to break here. They have eyes on end bottom.
Yeah, they know exactly where they are. They're going to just go right around, wrap around through the river.
They see DDC too. If the Lion dies early, that's going to be really bad for VGR. They've seen the move into the trees, Travis. Not looking good. Don't heed HY's advice this time, VGR. Get out of those trees. It's a death
They know
trap.
exactly where it is. They're going to jump right on top of them. The Sunstrike's not even needed. Great Earth Spike. Now the counter initiation from Yang. They get the Doom off.
They're coming in with the Alchemist, moving on to MMY. They instantly bring down the Disruptor, but they glimpse that Alchemist back out of the fight. So Io's left alone. Can the Doom do it alone? Yang is quickly dealt with. Io makes it out. DDC, not so lucky, isn't brought back by the Io. FY not able to save his friend. And in the end, no, too late to rejoin that fight. He did manage to catch out the Ursa at the tail end, but still a win that might allow LGD to move into the pit.
They get the gold exchange advantage coming up for LGD. Yeah, they lost the Ursa there to Noto, which gives him even more farm. He actually got 749 gold from that engagement, but that's still pretty good for LGD. They can't quite take Roche off the back of that because they needed the Ursa, but they're allowed to get more vision down. They're allowed to put pressure on that bottom lane as well. Not a terrible fight for LGD. In fact, pretty damn good.
No. What's he going for here? Are we going to see? I imagine this will be the Octarine, but was that slight chance of an early Ags?
He's going to buy the Soul Booster? Yeah, there it is.
Okay. So yeah, it is going to be an Octarine. I don't think there's really anyone who's a fantastic Aghanims candidate. The Doom Ags is pretty good. Jug Ags is quite nice to give him like that 7-8 slotted status later on. But for now, Alk is such a strong fighter. He just needs to stay alive in these fights as well as just apply pressure on the map to drag the game late. VGR want a 50, 60, even 70-minute game.
He's the one dishing out the damage in these engagements for the most part, obviously without the finger or the Earth Spike. So no, he has to be the big damage dealer. He has to continue on with his items. Octarine Core will help him obviously with the split pushing on top of the Manta
They see aggressive. That ward could be huge.
Charging up the Unstable Concoction. Yang has his blink, but it looks like Nono will just stun himself.
Oh, and then he runs in. The luck.
He actually flicks to the high ground, in fact. This is maybe not a great idea from aggressive, but there's the Boulder Smash. VGR stayed too long. The Chemical Rage is about to run out. He's actually going to pop the net. Still gets silenced. Xiao with the great initiation. Magnetize on top. The Kinetic Field will come through. Boulder Smash coming out. Just kicking back MMY. Unstable Concoction long range still. Nobody dead yet. And they're going to chase down Yang. That will be the first casualty
Chuck has
so far.
Omni, though, and Aggressive has already used his ultimate here. Sep's got to get out. These heroes in trouble for LGD. They're getting outlasted. They're not able to kill the Io. They can't kill the Alki when the Chemical Rage is going. The tether won't matter there. LGD do find the counter kill. 2 for 1 thus far.
Xiao maybe looking for another jump. Nono has stunned himself again. He's got Chemical Rage, though. Amplified damage is up. They're going to jump in. So they're encouraged. They get off the meatball. There's the cold snap coming through. Pops the Manta, relocate out, misses. And Nono is in trouble and will fall.
What a great static storm by MMY. They haven't been able to shut FY down sufficiently up until now, but at long last they do. As he charges in back onto them, knowing the relocate's about to end, and he too will fall 4 down. Huge disruptor play there. Also, Xiao had a big 3-hero crush that looked like it was going to get them that first kill. They didn't manage to burst FY. He's been staying alive a long time in these fights, but once he falls like a house of cards, the rest of the lineup crumbles. They need that Io to keep the Alchemist alive.
Couldn't get that tether off because of the static storm coming through, and that is just a huge play coming up for the disruptor from MMY. LGD obviously having a great couple of minutes there in those 2 team fights. And
I mean, that sometimes you're just unlucky in Dota. Like, Aggressive did not know they were there. He runs up the hill. The second the smoked Alk stun hits himself, if he does that a half second earlier, Alk stuns him. They kill the Ursa off the bat. Either Ursa buys back, LGD take an objective, or rather VG Gaming are taking objective, or LGD end up taking a fight 4v5. So, you know, so them's the breaks, man. Sometimes you're a bit unlucky, but great reactions there, blinking over them. And now Ursa has BKB. He is going to be an absolute beast in these fights. His sustain is absolutely ridiculous with an Aegis, Enrage, as well as the BKB now.
And the thing that I'm concerned most about is the Omni Slash, but he gets just Enrage right through that, I think, if En just decides to use his R button on him. And so there's plenty of just tankiness for this Ursa. It's really hard to bring him down now. With that BKB on, you lose all that damage coming out from the line, obviously. The only thing you could do is maybe Doom him so he doesn't use the Enrage, and then you can bring him down. But you don't really want to use the Doom on an Ursa, I think, on aggressive. You want to get that Doom on Invoker as much as possible.
Invoker, maybe the Slardar, because Xiao 8 is a source of sustained lockdown for this team in longer fights. But yeah, ideal target is going to be the Invoker. The big thing that's hurting VG Gaming Reborn, they still don't have a blink on DDC. We're 28 minutes in. We've seen blink daggers as fast as like the 13-minute mark, but when you're running Doom in the off lane, Alk mid, and a Juggernaut safe lane, 3 farming cores who need a lot of space, someone's going to suffer if you're not snowballing and completely crushing, and that man is DDC, so it falls to an Alk an Alk unstable concoction initiation, normally that's a follow-up stun, not the one that starts the fight.
And that's the big difference, I think, right now for VG Gaming and when LGD decided to pick up the line for MMY. MMY and the line, notoriously known for getting that Blink Dagger super early on in the game, maybe 15 minutes in if you can. Obviously, it's very quick if that's the case, but still. LGD, they have the Force Staff, obviously, for MMY and the Disruptor this game, so there's really just that, it's that Blink Doom initiation coming out for Yang at this point, and I think that's about it. And you talked about the Unstable Concoction. It's that and the Doom coming out for VG Gaming R.
Yeah, as good as that last sequence was for LGD, though, you could actually see the gold graph slightly tipping upwards, and I do feel like LGD need to get something done with this Aegis. Still a Tier 1 standing mid. VG Gaming were in position to defend that because they know as long as those outer towers are up, they can take some risk with farming, and even if they get dove, they have the chance to turn fights. We'll see a Ghost Scepter now in FY. There's a Diffusal Blade on the Ursa, but it could potentially help him if like Slardar jumps him on his own, so still a pretty value item pickup. And still LGD, the way they're itemizing, only one here that's going to scale that well into the late game, unless they get, you know, a bunch of kills, and that is the Invoker. And there's a Doom, so he goes Linked Sphere, maybe realizing that he will be public enemy #1, and there's not a great defensive support. There's no Dazzle, there's no IO on their team, even a bench swap out, so LGD don't really have the tools to keep maybe alive on his own, so he's going to do it himself.
LGD will use the scan, see that there is someone over towards that ancient stack farming away. Of course, it is Zen currently on that Juggernaut. By the way, another big item coming out is the Octarine Core. We talked about the Soul Boost that was picked up for the Alchemist, but now that that is available, you have the Chemical Rage off cooldown every 20 seconds or so. You have your Manta Illusions going to pretty much every lane possible. It is so frustrating to deal with. It's kind of like a Naga Siren in certain ways when you have that Octarine Core on the Alchemist.
Yeah, they still have not built much armor, though, against the Slardar. It is a level 2 amp. They have one plate mail on the Alchemist. Doom has not picked up a Vlad's. Juggernaut, he's getting a lot of agi items, so I think he's okay, but the supports become paper if they get jumped, and LGD, for them, the jumping is all about vision. They need to ideally start the fight with either a Blink Crush just to get a kill, or even better, just amp someone so you can see where VGR are, and then you can find the pickoffs. Once that happens, the Glimpse counterplays come into vogue, and I would like to see more armor for VGR. You're up against the Slardar, you're up against an Ursa.
They could use the ice armor creep from the Doom, which we've seen a lot actually in this tournament, where you just get Yang, you get a Devour off in the Ogre Frost Mage, and then you start
bottom lane
throwing it.
And getting comboed a bit, but does manage to just hit that Blade Fury button. Still though, getting run down, he might need relocate
He's
help.
so fast, the Tornado coming through, he drops the Healing Ward. That shouldn't bring him down, but it was close. The Healing Ward will bring him back up.
And this is like a taste of things to come. This is where, yeah, the rest of LGD might not scale well late, but if maybe can find those solo kills once he gets like a Scythe of Vice, for example, later on, some sort of lockdown, that could make the difference.
They did take the Aegis off of Aggressive there in that mid lane. It looks like it was just the Alchemist going to work with maybe an Unstable Concoction, some right clicks. So Aggressive getting caught out, but no big deal. They still can't get that Tier 1 tower mid. That has been standing so long. That is a huge access point for VGR.
I actually can't believe VGR have held this tower. Look at their lineup. They have Acid Spray. That is it. They don't really have deep push outside of Acid Spray, but LGD very tentative after that one bad fight where they lost, I think it was like 2 or 3 heroes, but they just know the dynamic of this game and how much is given up. 1 kill in this game is worth like 5 in others because of the Alch farming time, the Doom farming time that it creates.
Similarly, if you kill the Alchemist, though, and he's down for a long period of time, he's not farming, maybe even forcing out a buyback, but the problem is that there's too many towers still up, that Tier 1 mid. Unless you're fighting bottom lane, you can push directly in after getting a kill.
And they say, let's kill this thing, but
finally they get it done. Man, it took forever, but here's the Blink Doom initiation onto Aggressive. He's going to get forced out. They'll keep him up, rolling boulder away. LGD, they just want to get out. Good Static Storm to recover the retreat.
They have a relocate forward, and it's going to blink in, gets up the Omni. It's a big one.
Yes, the spray's down as well. Here comes Dodo. They've got 1, 2 now. Aggressive will fall as the Doom does take him down. They get off the Magnetize, but Sep is the last man behind for LGD. Sunstrike will come through, will not do anything for Maybe, and LGD lose 3 in that initiation.
Yeah, if LGD aren't going to force the fight while they have the Aegis, VG Gaming Reborn is going to punish them when that Aegis is down, and they're not getting enough done. They're not taking objectives. That's what this team is known for. And even game at 32 minutes is a horrible game for LGD. They are going to have to all eggs in the Invoker basket. Maybe he has to completely outplay them, and he's going to do it from a significant farm deficit.
And there's 36 seconds where there's no Aggressive Ursa, and they use their Glyph on the Tier 2. I think if VGR want to try to maybe think about forcing out a buyback or push into that Tier 3 tower, they can. They'll continue onwards right now. They're going to Sheep's Guard throughout the creep wave and looks for some Tier 3 damage at the very least.
Yeah, maybe going to be working those fingers overtime to slow down this push. The Meatball, Ice Wall, Forge Spirit. For VGR, it's just don't get overconfident here. You can farm, you have 4 heroes that scale really well. Even the IO, just a great defensive support. And FY, maybe more importantly than core items, he's up to 1,700 gold, so we could see him get a bit of plus armor. Maybe he works towards something like a BKB, just so he can deal with the Invoker combo. There are some key items even an IO can get that will allow them to scale better into late game, but this Alchemist, he's getting to the point where he can start trading out the armlet, look towards an even bigger item, grabs the Shiva's Guard, and against heavy physical damage, this is probably the #1 item. The AC is pretty good as well, but the movement speed slow, forces out the BKBs early, and can just completely waste them in the fights.
Yeah, kiting out Xiao 8 as well as aggressive on the Ursa is I think, at a premium for VGR right now. So
they're feeling a little desperate here, Travis.
They're going for an aggressive push down bottom with a gank maybe in mind.
The way they're positioned here, Invoker sees a big wave top. He's not farming it. They're, I think, debating between trying to force an objective, potentially go for high ground if they get that pick, or just farm those waves. But he's missing out on gold and experience here, and you just see LGD.
Oh, the smoke from VGR, though, they're going to counter-initiate. It looks like they did scout out the fact that Xiao was there. They know exactly where they are down bottom, and for LGD, it's just time to back. They know that this was a mistake, I think, to stay down here too long, and maybe we'll be able to TP out. No initiation there.
And blinks forward, though. He's got Omni Slash as well as the Diffusal. He can start the fight.
Sep, rolling boulder away, gets out in time, but they're looking for more. Blade Fury forward, avoids the boulder smash, and Sep should be able to get out, actually. He gets the TP through.
Still no blink on DDC. It's 34 minutes. They gotta get this man a blink. Too bad Al can't pull it to him.
Oh, that is very frustrating. That would have been a great pickup for them. And
can we start a donation fund?
I mean, he needs it. He's
Come
sitting
on, guys.
at 1,400 right now.
It's not even like a few pesos shortly.
It's not even like he's at like 1,800. He's sitting at 1,400. He's still got a ways to go. If he gets a tower, he's still not there yet. He's still like a couple hundred from that blink dagger at some point.
It's actually incredible to me that, or we're talking about how poor they are. The LGD supports are not any richer, really. In fact, FY is the leading farmer when it comes to supports, but this is just a game with outrageously poor supports, and LGD getting siege now. No up in front. Tough to go on this Alc at this stage.
Speaking of the Alco, BKB is going to be popped. Xiao 8 uses it, and actually that's a BKB, a full 10-second duration one, I believe, at that. So Xiao 8 is just going to have that down now. They might think about pushing. And on top of that, No buys himself an Aghanim Scepter for whoever.
Doom, probably, maybe the Juggernaut. I don't really think
one of those two, I would agree.
This is only a level 10 Lion, so I don't see him giving it to the Lion. Who knows? Maybe he's selfish and gives it to himself. No, don't do that.
I think it's still in the courier. It's coming currently.
It looks like Ends.
It's probably. I think it's going to be the Jug.
The Jug Eggs is quite
there
sweet.
it is. And he has level 3 ultimate, so the jumps, the cooldown specifically as well, which I think is 70 seconds with the Aghanim Scepter.
70 seconds.
Is pretty nuts as well. So that's actually huge for him. That Omni Slash is going to do just even more work now.
And LGD don't really have a goal mid lane. Tornado to start it off.
EMP, they're going to drop the ice wall as well. No, he's still very tanky. Now they get off the range of the BKB. Unstable Concoction, relocate out, but it's only right in front of him, and he's actually going to die.
MMY with the perfect glimpse counterplay there. Instantly drags him back in right as the relocate went up. Then Xiao ain't going to find FY. There's the Sunstrike. LGD needing the heavy outplays to pull back into this game. And boy, do they get it from Momoya.
He just bought that Axe too. He doesn't have buyback. He's dead for 60 seconds. This is perfect for LGD to find whatever they need to get done. The tier 2 tower, if they can get that, maybe even the tier 3. Try to think about forcing out that buyback and see if they can get some tip damage on that tier 3 tower.
I mean, it's an out. You don't know that he doesn't have buyback, and the guy just poops gold out of every orifice in his body.
That's very true.
They can at least take the tier 2. This should set them up for Roshan. I don't know that VGR will be able to contest it. Still, one more bad fight like that, Travis, with the tier 2 down mid, you could potentially lose 2 Raidens of Rex. So this is the stage of the game where VGR have to start thinking about buybacks, knowing that LGD are the ones feeling the pressure to end the game. And they aren't even going to get the tower. They head straight back towards the pit.
They're okay with this, I think. And on top of that, maybe gets an Octarine core as well. So he is the one we've talked about it the entire game, LD. He is the one that's going to have to do work for LGD. He did in that last engagement with Sunstrike. You saw Aggressive doing some damage as well. It looks like maybe we'll be able to carry this late game if they can get to it. They'll get the Aegis as well on top, or maybe. Or for Aggressive, excuse me.
Yeah, he's the one who will have, for the most part, the bulk of the load on his shoulders. But again, MMY, that was just a godly glimpse timing there.
Yeah.
Normal, like, yeah, you think of Disruptor as a counter to IO, but it's normally for when they relocate in.
Yeah.
You just glimpse the one here out. You don't normally pull one guy back, but timing was there, the vision was there, and it makes FY's job even harder. Now he's like, God damn it, how do I outplay MMY?
I honestly thought that was just a mistake from FY. I thought he just relocated him like half of a meter forward. I was like, that isn't right. No, the glimpse came through, and that was just really well played from MMY. So
it's where it's nice to have a Slardar because you have the amp damage for the vision.
Yes.
So if someone's even slightly too far forward, you can just completely punish.
By the way, DDC did get the Blink Dagger on the line.
Huh, double Shivas here for Vici, so no one building an AC yet.
Is there Vlads either?
No Vlads, no AC. I would really like to see at least one of those items. I don't think we're going to see a mech at this point, nor do they. FY could have bought it if he had a lot more farm, but obviously he's had a rough game. They do have Lion Blink now, though. Don't think we mentioned that yet. Lion Blink, and he's scavenged up a gem that No has pulled him. So hey, No can't buy Blink's first teammates. He can feed the mags, and he's going to be their favorite support as the game goes along. Buy the wards, buy the gem. Let your supports get some items.
DDC is just happy. He's like, all right, I got the one item I need to actually do work in this game. So he's level 11 on top of that. He has level 2 Finger. And LGD are playing kind of passively. They're playing together as 5 for now, but I think they might have smoked here. We'll see.
Yes, they did. El Shao 8 up
did
in
they
front.
do that on top of a ward? I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah,
they're all packing from VGR.
And Vici Gaming are going to get out. So, bit of a missed opportunity here for LGD. They might be able to get a deep ward down. Let's see, do they have any? Yeah, Sep is carrying some, but there's a gem on VGR, so they can just as quickly look to de-ward it.
Yeah, they're going to maybe put on the high ground here with Sep. And
that's one of the first places a support will normally check with because the tier 2 is still up in the top lane.
Which is where LGD are headed towards right now. They're going to pull out the creep wave, make sure they push into the tier 2 tower and try to take the last outer tower, which is very important. If they get a pick, they can keep the lanes pushed in for LGD. Maybe they can find some chip damage or even that full tier 3 tower. So LGD will play together for now. I mean, the problem is, though, that for VGR, they were playing pretty aggressively. They weren't getting, like you said, constricted inside of their base, inside of the river. But now it feels like they are in that same position again, where they're not able to move past the river. They will together as a team right now, but they're not finding much else other than that.
Yeah, they're the team that doesn't want to take too many risks here, but the result is they're struggling a bit in the level department. You can see Invoker with the Midas already up to level 22, closing in on. Actually, he does now have the AoE Deafening Blast, so. Things will get a little bit harder for VGR as the game moves along. You look at their lineup, they only have 1 BKB, and they have actually they don't have any. They just have the Blade Fury, I mean to say. So they don't really have many tools to like straight up deal with an Invoker late game. I think they may have to buy BKBs, or maybe could just take over in fights.
Do you feel like N's damage is a little low right now for Juggernaut in this position?
He's got the egg, so I think it's deceptive a bit.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't hit a really good Omni Slash, then yeah, he's not going to be able to easily man-fight an Ursa on his own, especially not when the Ursa has Aegis to work with. And also worth mentioning, Ursa does have the egg, so the CTY build that he pioneered, we've seen pretty much every Ursa player since then go for it.
I don't think he needs the damage. He has Diffusal on top of the fact that already Ursa chews up a lot of damage anyways.
Yeah, Ursa just needs to be able to get on heroes and stay on heroes in fights. Jug is a carry that needs to build damage. So later on, Butterfly could be a great choice. Ursa's a bit slot limited. Getting an MKB is difficult for him. I think Butterfly's one of the big ones, but here comes the smoke.
For initiation, DDC gets off the Earth Spike and the Hex at the same time. Doom comes out, Shao in trouble. Omni Slash comes through. Now the Inferno Blade aggressive. He pops the Enrage. He's still in trouble. He's got that Aegis. He's getting chased down, however, but nobody dead just yet for anybody. They're getting the Sunstrike off the time. There's the Aegis finally going down.
That's a lot to commit for the Slardar. They got to keep him under control. Or for the Ursa, rather. Aggressive coming back in with the BKB. There's the Tornado. Maybe arrives. This could get ugly for VG Gaming Reborn. Welcome to the Maybe Show. FY in trouble too. He's going to drop. No next. That's about to be 4. They get run over. You can't commit that much on an Ursa when he's got Aegis, and he gets off in rage, completely denies the Omni Slash. Then the fight turns, and it turns hard.
They just couldn't find that initial kill when they jumped in with the Omni Slash coming through. It just wasn't enough damage for VGR. They are forced to buy back on No. They have no IO for 32. Same with the Doom. No other buybacks coming in. Aggressive pops the Enrage again. There's the Glyph finally down. And Shao8 is still up looking for a Blink initiation. This is very troublesome for VGR. This is going to be tough to hold. They have Acid Spray. That's about as good as it gets. And it looks like LGD decide they don't want to overextend. They'll back up for now. Maybe wait for the next creep wave or just back altogether.
Yeah, if they see an opening to go back in on No, that will be an instant transition into a hard push. But barring that, they've gotten what they've come for. And with that, for the first time in a while, gold advantage is going LGD's way. And you have to remember that's with a lot of money invested into, heroes that don't scale as hard. The Alchemist, the Doom, yeah, they farm incredibly fast, but these heroes have abilities devoted solely to getting more gold that don't offer any other real direct benefits. So, especially at this stage. We'll see Juggernaut completing the Abyssal Blade here. Gives them more lockdown on the Ursa, and they need that stun to prevent him from just completely man-moding on them in the team fights. I think for LGD now, look for the next Roshan. You can see how powerful they are when they have that second life on an Ursa. If they don't, the fight's a lot different. Yeah,
I was going to say, I mean, they brought him down once. So they have the capability of doing it, but if he gets the Aegis, it's just impossible. And I mean, he can drop another item for that Aegis as well. I wouldn't be surprised. Xiaowei looking for blood right now.
Maybe
they have
has a refresher coming in.
They get the stun off onto FY. Now coming through counter initiation. Yang's going to jump with the Sensor Conqueror Stomp. Great Tornado is going to hit onto 2. Unstable Concoction. Here comes Nono, but Yang getting caught out. The Magnetized Static Storm, Deafening Blast. Isn't enough. Yang's about to fall. Finally they'll get FY on top.
Oh, more damage. No. Waiting for the Chemical Rage to cool down the Omni Slash. Very ineffective. En's got to blink and run. Out coming back in. He charges into 5. The Chemical Rage, he didn't get it off. He didn't pop the armlet. He finally does, but it's too late. LGD burst him down.
They get the finger kill on Sep, and DDC might have to pay with his life for that. And his glimpse back coming through. They're going to have Xiaowei stun. They tornado him up. The Sunstrike will be there. They're just going to clean up this line. 4 dead, no buyback on the Alchemist. He's dead for 85 seconds. That might be a game-losing fight, LG.
That's a lane of Rax, possibly 2. They've got 80 seconds. They have an Invoker who now has the refresher to work with. Didn't even have to use it in that fight. Man, MMY making the plays there. He Glimmer Caped and Force Staffed the Slardar back after Xiaowei was committed on. They really wanted to doom him, then maybe got up a Tornado as well. So LGD basically completely reset the fight. They knew where the IO was at that point. They didn't lose their Slardar off the bat. Maybe he's never getting focused because his positioning is so far back.
They're relocating in. They really want this Rax mid. End was going to work. He pushes the creep wave in. And they might get this tier 3 tower, but it looks like LGD, I don't think they care. They're going to TP back Invoker finally. He's the Octarine Core, so he has very low cooldown in his bots. It's 28 seconds now. Looking for more. End's going to be able to Blade Fury away. He's going to get caught. They don't have any stun available as he Blade Fury's out. And he will make it away. But now back towards the Blade. Aggressive's going to get doomed up as well. He's going to get Fury Rage. The Static Storm comes out. FY pop the Ghost Scepter. They catch out 2 with the Kinetic Field. Unearth's Smite catches Aggressive. Can they bring him down? The Omni Slash on top. Aggressive gets forced forward with the Glimmer Cape, but it's not enough. And they'll lose 2.
Xiaowei blinking in. He sees opportunity. Kaboom! The meatball. The Deafening Blast. They bring down the IO out for 60 and chasing forward.
Tornado doesn't catch. The MP pushes N back though. They forced out the buyback, by the way. Aggressive just is walking down mid. He's not even close to the engagement, so he seems like he doesn't care. The Alchemist has respawned finally now. After 80 seconds, they've only lost 1 set of racks. They got a tier 3 tower.
There's no Doom here, and they have buyback on the Invoker. LGD, I think they can force this one a bit, Travis.
Sep just rolls in casually, not with any vision. He's going to miss. He's going to get Unstable Concoction, get forced back right now, and he's actually going to stay alive. There's going to be MP on top. Guardian Groups coming through from LGD. They might just back up together. I'm not sure if they want to go for this all together at this point.
Yeah, these Alkalusions are being a bit pesky, slowing the push down, but bottom lane's moving in. As someone goes to defend that for VGR, which they likely will soon, LGD are going to pounce on mid.
Deafening Blast, Nono getting jumped on. He gets off the BKB, but look at the damage coming out from Aggressive. He pops the mid to the Chemical Rage, the Abyssal, one more right click. He stays alive! Stays alive the last second. There's going to be the Sunstrike on Yang. Another Deafening Blast coming through. Another Sunstrike, another meatball. Is it enough damage? LGD getting low. They're about to fall.
They want to get out of here, but the Force Step comes in. There's the Shivas to the rescue, looking for more. They only get the Earth Spirit. Aggressive flipping away.
Maybe.
Kill that bear. Maybe it's the bigger one. They force him down, out for 100. Doom had to buy back for that, but that ends a godlike streak on the Invoker. They hang on to the melee racks mid, and despite the buyback, they come out slightly on top there as far as net worth goes. Now, can they transition this into an objective? That's the big question here. Still 2 minutes with no Alk buyback, 6.5 minutes with no Doom buyback. Ursa did use his. He's down for 5 as far as the cooldown there goes. But I think it's either going for Lane of Rax here to force the Invoker buyback or going to Roche. It looks like Roche might be the choice.
I think that's a fine option because we talked about Aggressive with the Aegis. Yes, you can blow him up once. You cannot blow him up twice. So Vici will try to take that out of LGD's hands. LGD know they're heading over there, and they're getting themselves in position already. They can buy back with the Invoker if they want to try to contest this.
And because they took the Lane of Rax bottom, this bottom lane is always pushing, so there's a perfect delivery spot. That creep wave right outside the pit.
There's the buyback. They know this is happening.
Gotta get out. This is real dangerous with 2 key heroes not having buyback. They did force it though. That's big. Aegis likely gonna go here to maybe, I would say, though he is a little slot limited. Not sure what he would drop. Maybe the blink. But the blink is so nice to just sit, ensure you're always in the backlines and you don't get doomed.
The thing is, you can't switch out the Aegis for the refresh orb, unfortunately, but that would be pretty nice if that were the case. But
yeah, he could like leave the refresher on the courier and just drop the blink when he wants to use it, something like that. But it does make things a little more chaotic in the fight. So far, so good for VGR. They don't lose the second lane of Rax. They're definitely not out of this game yet. They have still a lineup that scales well in the late game, and they haven't given up the Aegis. They force LGD to play back a bit. This game is just really going to come down to execution. Who gets the jump? Does MMY outplay FY in the fight? Do they get off the Chemical Rage at the critical moment? Is there a relocate save? Something that will help VGR now, though, as the smoke comes, Travis, is the BKB on No-No.
They're wrapping around. They have Showit. The BKB comes in. They get off the overcharge as well as the ear spike. And now No-No gets blown up instantly. The Static Storm Sunstrike. They get the Meatball down. He's down for 84. Still no buyback. They find the Tornado. They get the Ice Wall off as well. And End is in trouble. He gets off the Omni Slash. And here comes Yang.
Good stomp there from Yang to follow up that Omni Slash, but it's just not enough. The Juggernaut had to blink out. Yang's going to drop as well. LGD, it's straight on towards objectives. Creep streaming in top, middle, and bottom. They have outlasted VG Gaming Reborn. They have outfought them, and now they're about to ransack their base.
Alk just gets enough for buyback, gets it up, and he is going to be alive. But there's still no Doom for 63 seconds, and Roshan is still up and available for LGD. They will not push into that Rax. They will not make the same mistake twice, and they will wait.
That Alchemist did not get off Chemical Rage in the last fight. He BKB'd, but then he got chain stun. He absolutely exploded. I'm not sure what it is that they need. Maybe Solar Crest. I still think an Assault Cuirass would really help this team, even a Vlad's. Like, generally, these are the Doom items you'll see, especially if Alk is already getting Shivas, but he just drops too quickly to physical damage. Shivas is nice, but on its own, it's really not enough. So, again, it comes down to getting the jump. If he gets off the Chemical Rage, likely a very different fight.
It's kind of crazy when you have 25 armor and you're still getting destroyed by physical damage as an Alchemist in this game. So, they definitely need more. I agree with you there completely. The AC would be huge for them. LGD, though, this is their time to push. No Doom for 15 seconds. They'll go right for the Rax. No pops his Manta style. There is the alacrity on aggressive. His attack speed and damage is nuts.
Yeah, Jug is cutting the creep wave mid. He wants to slow down this push, delay as long as possible. But they're still here in position looking for the pickoff.
Oh my god, DDC from that Sunstrike almost melts and evaporates.
The siege continues. LGD looking to be patient. Jug Illusions dragging this back, so very nice play by End. Wants to delay, stall as long as possible, but doing so for the entire duration of this Aegis, which still has 4 minutes to go, is going to be a tall order.
And it's just the Manta Illusions as well on top of that from the Alchemist that are going to be sent out. They still have to keep bottom lane pushed in. Otherwise, that backdoor protection not kicking in for VGR. And so LGD will back up just based on the fact that the Jug Illusions push the creep wave back all the way towards where that tier 2 was standing.
You know, we're at the point where I'm not sure dooming the Ursa is the way to go. Certainly not while he has the Aegis, but even without it, the hero's just so damn tanky and still hits very hard. We don't see an Aghanim Scepter on the Doom, so Ursa's still dishing out a lot of damage in these fights. It's about getting the Invoker. If they can kill Maybe, without losing 3-4 heroes because of it, I think VG Gaming Reborn easily win the fight, but Maybe's positioning has just been really solid this game. He's died twice, and that was with heavy commitment from VGR to bring him down. A buyback on the Doom in the previous fight. If they can't get Maybe, though, perhaps even one of the supports taking out Sep or MMY, these are just much easier heroes to kill, and then you can turn your attention back to the Ursa.
LGD will try again for another mid push. No creep cutting this time, at least not yet from the Illusions. You can see the Manta Illusions from the Jug heading towards that top lane now, but here comes the rest of LGD streaming in. They want to go on this Rax. They have an Observer Ward down, so they have the vision. The Acid Spray will come through as well.
Only the Jug has a buyback here for VGR. LGD playing with a lot of extra life. Aegis Cheese and 3 buybacks.
Oh, they just blow up the IO. FY was there one moment, he's not there the next.
Deleted. And with that, LGD, they'll take this melee Rax. I don't see VGR defending it.
No, he had the Chemical Rage and BKB now, and coming through. I think he has an Omni Slash ready, but he's still silent step, and aggressive is actually a little too in far. He has that Aegis down, and definitely blast. And Omni Slash is coming through, but it's not enough. They will finger down at least Shao 8. They still have lost 2 on the side of VGR.
Maybe just shrugs off the Omni Slash with the help of his team. He refreshes here, he rearms. He's going to look for more. The Sunstrike goes splat! DDC explodes. Maybe coming through in the clutch, showing why his Invoker is first stage ban material aggressive, still holds the Aegis. Maybe still sits in the back line. the 2 stars from China.
They can't even bring him down once. The illusions will finally do the job. It takes forever. They purchase up another Aghanim Scepter. Nono says, I have to do whatever I can at this point, or we're going to lose another set of racks 3 down.
And
now they jump on Xiaowei going to work with the Slithering Crest. They have another Sun Strike. It hits, but he is very tanky. Meatball coming through. Now the Deafening Blast on top. Nono will fall. Chemical Rage will not save him. He's dead for 108, and that looks to be GG, David.
LGD, I really don't think they had the better late game draft on paper if VGR itemized and played correctly, but maybe shows that his Invoker might just be one of the hardest carries in Dota. Outplayed every step of the way, even MMY with that glimpse to counter the relocate earlier. This was a tough one for VGR, and I think they're just going to be sitting back and saying if we just played a little bit better in the fights, we could have had it. LGD just played better.